So my name is Karolina Żebrowska, and I guess I'm a YouTuber now. Yeah, I think so.
You studied film in Krakow and in Edinburgh, right?
Yeah, I studied film studies in Krakow and film directing in Edinburgh. So it was kind of similar, not the same. So I'm actually a failed actor. I was supposed to go to a drama school, but by the time there were exams for the drama school, I was already kind of not liking the stories that I was hearing about the drama school. And I also kind of understood that I might not be able to get in, so I needed like an alternative route. And there isn't that big of a variety of different courses in Poland in terms of like everything that's not related to like sciences or technology. So that was the only one that sounded like something interesting to me, like the film studies. So like basically watching films during your course and your studies doesn't sound too bad, so that's why I did it. And it was okay, but then I felt like I was lacking the practical side of things, so yeah, that's when I decided to study abroad film directing. I definitely did watch like the Oscars every year since I was like early high school, so there was that. I wasn't like a super intense film viewer, I would say. Like most of the classics I haven't seen before going to the studies, so it was only the knowledge that I acquired there and not before. But I was definitely interested in films and also like all of the film industry, like how it works, the backstage of things, like what happens on set, how things are done. And I think that's something that I'm still really interested in nowadays, like the practical effects even, or how do you fake things even though you don't actually have to make them. And that's something that I really like about filmmaking is you can just lie and people will believe that.
So, I mean, I studied computer science and like the studies are very different from your actual job. And I mean, obviously YouTube is very different from studying film, but did you learn a lot that you can use now on YouTube, or did you learn everything yourself anyway, what you need to know to run a YouTube channel?
I think if I didn't do the studies, I would still be able to do most of the things I do nowadays. The film directing studies were very useful in terms of figuring out how things work on set and having a clear sort of understanding of who does what on set and how things are made. So I think that that's something that I will use more if I ever venture into, short films and stuff like that. But it's not really useful that much when I'm on my own in my room, like filming. It's probably not the knowledge I'm using in everyday activities and filming. So yeah, I mean, it would be nice if I did learn filmmaking there, but but I think it's just such a different job that maybe, things like editing or understanding how to get people to react a certain way to what you do, maybe that is something that comes from my student background.
You're always telling a story. So did you at least like learn storytelling, the theory of storytelling, or is that something you taught yourself?
I guess it's very much like trial and error, because you sometimes think a story works and then it really doesn't, and I think it's something that I still struggle with. Maybe not in the short videos, because the stories can be very short, so that's usually pretty simple to make. But if I'm trying to make something that's more complex, it doesn't always turn out the way I thought it would be and the way it looked on paper. But yeah, I mean, probably the film theory background of like watching different films and not even analyzing them, but just watching hundreds of films that I otherwise would never watch. I guess it might be helpful to me. I don't know, is it? Should be. Yeah, there is something left in the brain from that, so.
And then there's also like the feedback from your viewers. So even if you made a video and you're totally convinced by the story, sometimes people don't like it
Yeah,
or
that's
don't get
the thing. Yeah. I think it's a very useful thing to have like a base of people that will tell you what they think about it. Because when you send your films, like short films, to film festivals, you only get the feedback being like, yes, we picked it, or no, we didn't. And most of the time you don't even know why. And then when it gets shown at the festival, it's like 50 people in a cinema, and then they leave and you never get to know like what they thought about it. Whereas like on YouTube, you get very fast, like instant reactions, and they're very like
unfiltered.
Yes. So so I personally find it useful because sometimes you get it all in your head about how certain things are and how they should be perceived, but then you show it and it turns out that no, actually people can't read your brain. So that's something to like keep in mind.
Does it get frustrating then, or?
It can. I think it's never really about people's reactions, though. It's about what the YouTube algorithm picks and thinks it's valuable, whereas I think it's other things. So that can be very frustrating because it's never like the amount of work you put in is not clearly like transferring to the amount of views. So it's pretty random. And usually the videos that I pay the least attention to and that are really fast to make are the ones that are really pushed out and viewed. So maybe that's a bit frustrating because it's not necessarily encouraging hard work.
Yeah.
For example, like all of the research videos, there has been instances where I worked a couple of days on a video, like researching it really heavily, only for it to completely flop. And then a lot of instances of me making a skit out of a whim, just like spontaneously during the day. And then it also takes it's so fast to edit the skit content. It's like I have to film myself in 2 different positions pretending I'm 2 different people, and then it's half an hour editing, and then it's done, and then bam, 1 million views. So I mean, to be honest, like it's not very encouraging for all of the hard, difficult research videos. But it's the truth, like YouTube, and I think every platform is leaning towards the short video content right now. So.
You don't make any videos, you make very specific videos about mostly like historical women wear or lady wear. How did you get into this historical side? I mean, you even published a book about that.
So I guess it has something to do with period dramas, because I remember watching Jane Eyre when it came out when I was, I think, back in high school or an early student, and I was just obsessed with the costumes in it. I mean, obsessed with the whole movie, but the costumes especially. And maybe that's when I sort of started researching that, that period of fashion. But when I look back, it's not something that popped out of nowhere. You probably can relate to that as well, where you have like, every time you were in a museum, you would look at specific like paintings or photographs that drew your attention. So I would always in museums and at exhibitions, I would always look for portraits of women in historical clothing. So I mean, it's a pretty big hint that something is going on. And yeah, I was always the princessy type of girl, like when I was younger. So that also, I guess, makes sense why I'm drawn into like ball gowns and very like structured female garments. So yeah, I don't know.
What would you say came first, like the interest in also making the garments yourself, or the film stuff?
I think the film stuff first, because I didn't know you can make them yourself. I just assumed you're like completely, you need to be a professional seamstress to even attempt to do that. And then I even didn't know that people do that, actually. I thought it's something that, theaters and movies do, but like regular people never could even try. So I think I just didn't know I can. And then I started reading all of the costume blogs, and it turned out that, yeah, people do it. And it's not their job, they just do it for fun. And also they're not professional seamstresses most of the time. So funnily enough, I didn't know how to sew before, like at all. So that was my first kind of sewing attempts were historical costumes. So now I kind of lack the basics of like just sewing in general, because I never really got to do it. And yeah. So for the first gown I ever made, that was like half made by my parents, and we used those, you probably know the Burda magazine. Yeah. So the Burda patterns, and they're obviously not historical, but we needed something, so I used that, and then I just sort of started improvising. And I honestly, when I look at some of the first costumes I made, I have no idea how I did it, because like I didn't know how to do things. So how did I do that? And even now, when I see some of my early costumes, I have no idea how was it even constructed, because it's just completely not intuitive. I didn't follow any patterns. How did it even, exist? Yeah. So yeah. The beginnings were rough, and also it's an expensive hobby, so you dream of having like nice accessories and shoes, etc., but at the same time you're like a first-year student, so you need to live. So I mean, all of the bed sheets and curtains, it was for me like the English wedding hats that you would just put flowers on and pretend it's I don't know, an Edwardian hat. Or I use pizza boxes as well. Yeah, they're pretty good actually. So yeah, you would get your hands on anything that would work, and then you would develop special hacks on how to make things. And
do you still have this first gown?
I think I do, yeah.
But you don't wear it anymore, or?
Oh no. I actually have trouble with wearing like anything that was made pre-2017. Because I really did not pay attention to how things are made in terms of construction and closures and lining. I think I saw my first lining in 2018. So before that, we didn't talk about that era. It's all a mess. Well, the only thing I didn't do is like zippers and stuff, but otherwise it's just very poorly made construction-wise. So I don't really do that.
And do you have like a favorite era or decade, or I don't know?
I have some eras that I like, but I don't really look good in. So it's I don't have many clothes from those eras. Yeah, like the early 19th century with like the Regency era clothes. I feel like I like the fashions and they look good. But I do like 1840s, 1850s in terms of women's fashion. Not all of it. Some of it is too frilly, but some of it I do like. And then I also like, obviously, the 1890s and the 1900s. I'm actually feeling a bit like making something in 1900s now that I've seen the other girls, so yeah.
Speaking of the other girls, do you like scan people in costume a lot, or?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, I like getting inspired by other people's costumes. And then mine are made so crappily that I couldn't really complain about anyone else's, so I tend not to see anything wrong with them. Yeah, it's just that you also get to see so many pretty things all the time, and then you want all of them, and you know that you have the power to make them, but you don't have the time. So like I understand that I would probably not be able to make all of the things that I want during my lifetime. So it's just painful, because you could probably, like, physically you would be able to make it, but time-wise it's just not possible. So there's a lot of like projects that I don't know if I will ever make, but I really want to. So yeah.
So, and I guess like certain eras you also like sport on an everyday basis, right? Like at least the vintage stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I'm getting to the more casual side of things with 1940s, because a lot of the stuff, at least on me, the elegant stuff does not look good with flat shoes, like the dresses and hats and things like this. So.
And you do prefer flat shoes?
And I do much prefer flat shoes. So I tend to go like more casual, so it doesn't really clash that much. But then sometimes it ends up looking like a grand mess. So yeah, because it's the casual side of 1940s fashion, I don't think I'm getting that many comments. I'm getting some stares, but then it's Poland, so we stare at each other a lot. The occasional drunk guys that shout something at you, that might as well happen in my normal clothes. So I don't think that triggers it especially. It gets messy with tourists, especially in my hometown, which is pretty touristy, and gets busy in the summer. But I think 1940s is sort of at the edge of like being historical and looking modern enough for people to leave me alone. Like if I was wearing this, I probably would not be able to walk as freely as I do. So,
But I guess, I mean, that's already a big change compared to like a decade or 2 decades ago, I think. I mean, for menswear it is, for example, the Baker Boy caps. Since Peaky Blinders, you don't get any looks anymore because of Baker Boy's caps, because everybody's wearing Baker Boy caps. And I think in general, like fashion has become very diverse, and people are slowly maybe getting used to seeing people that are not dressed as they expect them to do. I don't know how that is in Poland. And I mean, even in Germany, it depends really on the city where you're in, for example.
Yeah, I think it would depend on the city. I mean, I would say that cities have become more accepting of people wearing different, sometimes weird stuff, whereas the smaller towns, there is this small village where we have like kind of a cottage in, and I have walked to the shop sometimes with my rollers and scarf on, and people can really like get a proper stare down at you, but they never say anything. So I guess it's staying civil. But yeah, I would say that like 10, 20 years ago, there would definitely be some comments about that. But also maybe the people that will make the comments have seen so many changes in fashion that they cannot really tell if it's supposed to be like that or, you know.
What can we expect from you in the near future? Will you be writing another book? Is there any video you can tease, maybe?
What can I say? I probably won't be writing anything anytime soon. And video-wise, I think it has been a while since like the researched essays that I was just complaining about. So, so maybe this one doesn't flop. And yeah, we'll see. Some skits probably as well. I haven't actually closed the door. Okay. Could you stop staring? Thank you.